Guys, there's been a disaster on the homestead. Tragedy has struck. I don't know what to do. Okay, so if you haven't gathered, this is going to be a little bit of a dramatic video. So buckle up, we are in for a ride. But truly something terrible has happened that I need to show you guys. So in my last video, I had freshly planted up a whole batch of brassica seedlings. There were a few dozen of them in this newly prepared row that we had burned holes into the weed fabric, and everything was beautiful and organized. The seedlings were looking good, and I hope you got a really good look at them because they are gone. They have been murdered, beheaded, sent to a swift death to plant heaven, and this will henceforth be known as the Great Brassica Massacre of 2023. I don't know why this happened to me. I'm still processing the deaths of my beautiful babies, but yeah, they're just gone. Something happened. So here we are at that row, and you can see all of these holes. There are no plants in them. They have just been completely beheaded, not a single leaf left on like 90% of these seedlings. You can see that these seedlings have just been eaten down, nothing left but a little tiny stem, not a single leaf. Now I do have a couple of seedlings that have not been harmed. I have these two broccoli seedlings, and that's kind of it. We do have a few where a single leaf has been spared, but I mean, really, is that going to grow at this point? There's another one with just one leaf. This one's got a few baby leaves, but most of them have just been eaten down to the ground. I have a couple here that are also mostly unharmed. This is my Napa cabbage. This one is looking the best, and then I have this one that's looking okay, and then that one has a single leaf left. So yeah, there's been an absolute massacre here. So I don't really know what happened here. I mean, obviously some kind of animal came and ate all of my seedlings, but beyond that, I don't really know what kind of animal it was. It doesn't really look like it was slug damage because the entire stem of the plants look like they've been eaten rather than like just the leaves. So maybe it was a bunny or some kind of rodent like a mouse or a rat, but we don't really see that many bunnies around here, and my plants were also covered by frost fabric. Obviously it wasn't like animal proof. I did have bricks weighing down the sides, but they could have still gotten in through the cracks. Or maybe it was like a turtle. We actually have seen a few turtles around in our yard recently. Last fall I saw like a pretty big box turtle, and then the other day when I was weeding I saw like a little tiny baby box turtle, and I just put him back in the garden because he was so cute. But like, was he responsible for all this? That little cute little guy? I don't know. So anyway, when I found out that all of my plants had been eaten, it was last night. We were just like working around in the yard, and I thought, I'm gonna go check on my little seedlings because it's been a few days. A few days, okay? Like, it hasn't even been a week. I have been growing these seedlings inside for 2 months. They go outside, and 3 days later, they have been eaten down to the ground. So anyway, yeah, I figured I would go take a look at these seedlings and check in on how they're doing, expecting them to be adapting really nicely and growing. And when I first lifted up the fabric, I saw like in that first hole, there was no plant there. And I thought, that's kind of weird. And I looked down the line, and like the entire line of seedlings was gone. I was just like speechless. We've never had anything come and eat all of our seedlings like that. And I feel like personally attacked because it's the middle of spring. There is so much growing. Our grass is growing like inches every day, and there are new plants popping up. But some kind of animal purposely went inside my covered row and ate every single one of my seedlings. I was like a little bit traumatized last night. I literally stood staring at the row, just going like, oh no. Like, this was me for the entire night.
Hey babe,
Yeah,
what happened to your brassicas?
they're dead.
How many?
All of them.
Oh no.
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
And now the hens are laying. You can hear them doing their little call. So hopefully it's not too noisy, but that's the sound of a farm in the spring. So anyway, I'm not really sure what to do now. I'm still kind of processing this trauma. It's like extra annoying because we had specifically prepared this row. It's extra annoying because we had specifically prepared this row for these seedlings. Like you saw, we were literally taking a flamethrower and burning holes into wheat fabric at the exact spacing that I planned out for these plants. And now I'm just trying to figure out what I can do with that space, because it's a little bit too late at this point to start new brassica seedlings. Those things we can only grow in the spring, and it's too hot to grow them in the summer. And if it takes another month or two for me to grow those seedlings and then I put them in, it's going to be the middle of summer and there's just not going to be enough time for them. So now I'm trying to figure out what I can put in that space that works with the spacing that we had burned into the fabric. I was thinking maybe putting my peppers in there, although for peppers I would need to put an individual stake for each plant. And then my other thought was maybe I'll do bush beans, and the 18-inch spacing is definitely overkill for bush beans. They do not need that much. But I was thinking that maybe if I did like 2 bean plants per hole and let them both grow, maybe they would like push out against each other and then like grow to either side of the hole and like take up more space in between the holes that way. So I don't know, I'm still trying to figure that out. If you have any suggestions for what I could put in that space, please let me know. I'm like trying to think through rationally and figure out what to do now with that space, but to be honest, the paint is just a little bit too fresh right now. And anytime I think about it, I just get a little bit sad. So I'm gonna like give myself a few days, I think, to try and think about this. Yeah, I just don't know, man. And what we did with the survivors is last night we came and we just like put all of these little planters on top of them, weighted down with like a rock or a brick or something, just to have some kind of physical barrier, because I want to try and salvage these couple of remaining plants if I can. I know it's only 2 versus the 12 I started with, but it's still something and I want them to live. So I guess I'm gonna come out every day and just like cover these at night, and then during the day I'm gonna have to take them off so they get sunlight, which is kind of annoying. If I had some of those like wire cloches, I would put that on top, but at the same time I don't really know what size of animal I'm trying to create a barrier against. So even if it's like smaller wire, if it's a small animal, it can still get through. At least with this, it's like a solid material, so I know that even a small animal can't get through and eat the plants. So yeah, that's what we're doing, just to try and protect these last few. I mean, really, we only have like these 2, and then we have the 3 Chinese cabbage in the back over there. 2.5 really, so like maybe like 4 plants that could possibly make it. But I'm gonna be trying my best to protect these brave little survivors. And thankfully, in my other row, in my raised bed where I put all of these little extra brassicas, so I had the 4 kohlrabi and then the 1 cabbage. These were my overflow plants, and little did I know they were going to be better off in this raised bed, and they are doing great. This is what I expected to see when I opened up the row cover the other day, but at least I have these 5 that are doing well in here, and hopefully that animal does not come for these guys like they did the other ones. So anyway, that is the disaster that has befallen us. But listen, I know I'm being like extremely dramatic here. I know it's not the end of the world. Like deep in my heart, I know this. The pain is still a little fresh, but I know it's gonna be okay. I know that we don't actually need this food. Although we like to grow a lot of our own food, we can still go to the store and buy a few heads of broccoli or cabbage if we need to. Like, it's not the end of the world. And if you're a gardener, you know that these things happen. There are bugs, animals, diseases, anything can happen to your plants. It's always kind of a risk putting things out into the open world like this. And if you're a new gardener that doesn't know this yet, well, now you know. Welcome to the club. Anything can happen. It is all up to nature, but that's part of the fun of it. Yeah, so I know it's not that big a deal, but my default mode is always just drama. I think it helps me to just hide from some of the pain a little bit. So we just have to move forward from here. I think that's all I've got for you today. Send your thoughts and prayers, your suggestions for the space, and I'm gonna take a mental health day today. I have some things to process. Maybe I'll plan to do like an intense cardio session today and get out some of this rage. And we'll just figure it out from here. I hope you enjoyed the most chaotic, dramatic video that I've ever put on this channel. I'm not promising that this will be the end of it, but also this is not how things usually are. I can't say that this is not how I usually am, because I definitely am, but usually in videos I am a little bit more calm. So come along for the ride and subscribe if you are not subscribed, and I'll show you what I do with the space eventually, what replacements are gonna go in there. But yeah, thank you for watching, and that's all I got for you. Bye!